My name is Sarah Walters, and I work for Keep Texas Beautiful. We're a nonprofit organization working to make Texas a better place to live, work, and play. One of the ways we can make Texas a better place to play is by preventing more waste from going into our landfills. This is also known as source reduction, which is the practice of designing, manufacturing, purchasing, or using materials in ways that reduce the amount of trash created. Today, we'll be talking about just that through an activity called Charting the Course, which is a waste in place activity from Keep America Beautiful. For this activity, you'll be working in teams of 3 and using the critical thinking chart that I provided to your teacher. So, what's source reduction about anyways? Source reduction, which includes reuse, can help reduce waste disposal and handling costs because it avoids the costs of recycling, composting, landfilling, and combustion. Source reduction also conserves resources and reduces pollution, including greenhouse gases. Source reduction is the highest goal in the solid waste management hierarchy. You might have heard the slogan before: reduce, reuse, recycle. Whenever possible, reduce or reuse first. What are some common things that we use that we can reuse so we can reduce how much we're buying and how much is ending up in our trash? One of the things I think about that we use a lot in our classrooms and in our homes are paper towels. When we use paper towels, we're buying them and they're packaged in usually plastic that gets thrown away. And then once we're done using the paper towel, that also gets thrown away. So instead of buying more paper towels, we can buy cloths instead. This way, once we're done using the cloth, we can put it in the washing machine to use over and over and over again. That way, we're not adding to the trash and we're not adding to more costs for your parents or your teachers. And another thing that we use all the times in our homes, sometimes multiple times a day, are little cotton balls. So instead of using cotton balls, we can switch to cotton pads. This way we can use this and then also put that in our laundry to wash and use again later. So once again, that reduces the amount of packaging products that hold those cotton balls that get thrown in the trash, along with the cotton balls that get thrown in the trash. So saving money in the long run and saving trash, which helps the planet. And for those things that you can't reuse yourself, did you know that there are over 6,000 reuse centers across the country, ranging from specialized programs like for building materials, leftover lumber, supplies like that, or unneeded materials in schools, to local programs such as Goodwill and the Salvation Army. I encourage you all to do your research and see if you have any reuse centers in your own community. I know I have one in my community, and one of the things that they take are leftover paint. Sometimes when you're done painting a classroom, a room in your home, or even finish painting a fence in your backyard, there's still paint left over that you're not planning on using. So at this reuse center, they take that little bit of leftover paint that you have and they mix it with other people's leftover paint to create new paint. And then they're able to give it away for free in our community, which is really nice. So that way it's reducing the amount that's going into our trash from that liquid, and other people are able to use that product for free. Now that we've talked about why you should be reducing trash and reusing items, what are some other things that you can be reducing in your homes or schools? Something that I think about that gets thrown away a lot in schools are crayons. A lot of times when you get to that small little piece of the crayon that's left over, most people just throw it away. But did you know that you can melt those crayons down to make new crayons or even make new art? People have made some really pretty cool art from melted crayons for sure. But when you think about this project, do you think it will be easy or difficult to implement? So if you want your teacher to start melting crayons every time you get down to those small little crayons, do you think that's going to be easy, a new habit to implement? This is a good question to consider when you're trying to make a change at a larger level, at a classroom level, at a home level, or school level. Some might say making this crayon change is easy because it's quick, and there's plenty of crayons to go around and lots of art projects that can be made from it. However, some might say it's difficult because teachers will need access to an oven to melt the crayons, and they might not want to take them home to melt them there. So that requires a change in behavior to take crayons home or for teachers to have access to an oven to melt those crayons at school. And it might also require a change in attitude, focusing on ways to reuse an item that you would just normally have tossed out really easily without a second thought. Another thing to consider is will there be a cost to make this change? Or is it free? If there's already an oven in the teacher's lounge, it could be free, and teachers would just need to be granted access to use it. Also, teachers could just bring these crayons home to melt them there, which is also free. But maybe a teacher really wants to melt the crayons in the classroom to be able to show their students. So if they don't already have it, they would have to purchase a hot plate for their classroom. This is still a relatively low cost since hot plates aren't that expensive, but it's still a cost nonetheless, something to consider. These are all questions that we have to consider when looking for solutions to reducing waste. We want to make it relatively easy for people to buy into and low cost, so that way it can be highly effective with a lot of people doing it. So now on to our activity. Everyone is going to break into groups of at least 3 to discuss other solutions to reducing waste in the classroom or in the home. Each group should have one recorder, someone who's going to be filling out the chart to prepare the report for the rest of the class. Each group should have a quality checker, so someone that checks to make sure everyone in the group understands the instructions and that everyone gets a chance to participate. We've learned from all of our work that the more voices we have in the room, the more creative ideas we can get, which lead to better solutions to these problems. And lastly, you want to make sure you have a reporter, someone who's going to report out to the class the amazing ideas that your group discussed. Each group should then also come up with at least 3 solutions to report out. So you'll use that critical thinking chart to help determine how easy and how costly these changes might be. A change might cost $0, but it might be difficult to implement. So make sure to think through everything together as a group to help figure it out. After you work with your group, be prepared to share with the class and see if they have any other ideas to add to your report. Maybe you didn't think about one step in the process and another class member can help you guys think about that. And then let's also see how many of you guys have the same ideas and how easy it could be to start making our changes today. So hopefully after this discussion with your whole class, you can all start to work on reducing waste for your classroom and hopefully in each of your homes as well. Afterwards, I would love to hear about the amazing ideas that you all came up with so I can see the progress that you're making to help keep Texas beautiful. Thanks, y'all.